what we see overwhelmingly is you have your data, and then you have what people tell you they're doing in their workspace, and there's usually a vast chasm between them.
Sure. So like when you talk to someone, you're like, "Hey, how often do you go to the gym?" And they're like, 3 times a week. Like, like the reality is like if you had a log of how many times they went to the gym, it probably wouldn't be 3 times a week. And it's not because humans are actively lying. It's because humans are pretty bad at record keeping. And so, if you say like, "Hey, are there available meeting rooms?" They'll be like, "There's never available meeting rooms. I can never find an available meeting room. Or are you able to find a desk when you need it?" And they'll be like, "No, it's like always swamped." But then when you look at the data, and we have a lot of it, when you look at the data, um, like, like I think the number that was probably most staggering was that something like 38%, nearly 40% of all desks were untouched for like
Wow.
90 days post
Wow.
RTO, post
Yeah.
return to office. And I went and interviewed. I was like on site for this particular customer, and I talked to dozens of employees, and they were all walking around looking for a desk. And you know what had happened? The teams that had come back had claimed territory for their teams. And they're not trying to do it in like a nefarious way. They just
Yeah.
were like, no, this is for like the ad group, or that's for the engineering group, or that's for, sorry, but like, no, this area is for. And so people were sitting there wandering around looking for space to do work, and then they're furious about return to office because they're like, you asked me to come back and then you don't allocate space to us, and then I'm sitting here wandering around wasting time both at my commute and also in my like, I'm just looking for space. And it turns out at no point during the entirety of return to office for that particular company did they ever fully run out of meeting rooms. There was always a meeting room available. There was always a desk available. And the problem was twofold. One was a visibility problem. You need to give the data back to people that are coming into the office. Like show them which rooms are available. Show them which desks are available. Or at least show them which neighborhoods might have desks. That's one. Don't just observe them. Like give them useful data. Let them self-police. And on the other end, like don't book rooms that you don't use. So like 27%, I'm thinking of another group in New York, of all of their meetings were ghost meetings. That means that people booked the room, but they never showed up. And so like it's just crazy that we're willing to lock up nearly 30% of our entire portfolio of one of the most valuable assets, which is like where people come to gather and collaborate, just simply because of the seniority of who booked and reserved the room ahead of time. And so again, like there is plenty of space. There just is. And if you give visibility to where, it becomes sort of a self-policing system. And it's also like apolitical. It just is, right? It doesn't have an agenda. It's like here's where there's free space, here's where there isn't free space. And then everyone can make better decisions instead of these like political debates about I need this and it's not there, or no, my team must have all this dedicated space even though they're not using it.